אומר. למעשה, מה אנחנו עושים למעשה בזמן התפילה?
All right. All right. We had a little bit of an interruption. We are on the line on page Nun Hey, on the line that starts with Wodamineo Miyaki Veisem Elikus, which is the first third of the second paragraph. Have it? Umineo Miyaki Veisem, yeah? Okay. So the Rebbe now, after having explained the inyan of Abba Paltiel, he says now we need to understand what is the direct connection between the principle of Abba Paltiel and Yetzias Mitzrayim. He says to understand it, we have to first discuss the inyan, what happened in Der HaFloga, because it said that Der HaFloga was nistakin through the Shibud Mitzrayim. What's a Hafloga? Hafloga means the separation. It's been Hafloga, to separate, to break away. And what is this referring to? It is in fact refers to this inyan. We are saying Havayahu Elikim, the Hafloga, their inyan was that they wanted to separate between Havaya and Elikim. What does that mean? That they would want, their approach was that the whole thing in the world is only Elikim, only the Hakbolah. In the world, everything, all that exists is that which is representing Shem Elikim, not Shem Havaya. Shem Elikim, as we learned the whole time, this is the Hakbolah. That's what, in other words, in the world, there is only worldliness. There is no godliness. It's only worldliness.
the Hashem creates Shem Elohim and
Right.
did him cruel and...
Yeah, right. It's not. You have to understand the principle as we explained the whole time. That Shem Havaya, that Havaya Elohim, what does that do? What is the effect of this Havaya Elohim? That through Shem Elohim you recognize and you rise to recognize the Shem Havaya, the name from the Elokus. Otherwise, you see only world. You don't see the Elokus in the world. If you look only at the Shem Elohim, not only on the Hagbala, this means, practically speaking, in terms of the human being, it means essentially the same thing that the scientists saying today, there is no neshama. Show me where the neshama is. Everything a person does is all physical. The brain tells the hand to move the hand. That's because there are nerves and there are muscles that connect between the brain and the hand, and that's how the hand moves. It's all physical. And what makes the brain think? What makes the brain think? Right? To say, oh, that's yes. The brain is thinking because it has a nerve. Brain is a nerve, and the nerve gets scared. What will happen the next minute? So you start thinking. It's all physical. If not for all the different effects in the world, the person would be lifeless. Just like this box. It's not a show. It sounds stupid. It's mama stupid. But that's how the world accepted it, that thought. Can you imagine that? Bishop Shem Elohim without Shem Havaya. You have the effect. You know what the effect means? The effect of the Neshama, without the Neshama. You have actions, but it's all only the action. It's like a computer. There's nothing behind the action of the computer. It's all on the surface. You know the communists, I'm sure you know the communists. A crazy idea. Where did they get it from? Their idea came from the perception that there is no neshama. The whole thing everything that a person wants is right here in the physical world. Nothing. There's no individuality in the person. So we have to share everything in the world, and we all be happy. The whole thing is everybody should be equal. The reason people are unhappy is because somebody has more than I. But if not for that, you'd be perfectly happy. Because the whole thing is all Kashmirs. Afloga. Break away from Elokus. Elokus is Chayas, a true Chayas, in and of itself. Like we say all the time, you say Shema Yisrael with closed eyes. I'm saying Shema Yisrael not because I see the whole world. I see it in my neshama. With closed eyes. That's a living person. Bishop said Shem Havaya and Shem Elohim. Shem Elokim is also the Rebbe created. But he created just on the physical, on the worldly level, on the Agbola level. Shem Havaya says, what's behind it? Why? What's the seichel of it? What's the purpose of it? No Shem Havaya. V'hu ha'hepech l'gamri. Okay, this is where we start. V'hu ha'hepech l'gamri miyichud havai v'elikim. This idea that they had in their haflogo where they see the world by its as a separate entity, it's exact opposite from the principle that we're discussing. The Bible Elokim is all one. She'ein shum davar mastir klal. The Arian was that there is nothing concealing. That Havaya is completely begili in the world. Nothing conceals in Havaya. Kiyim adarab. As we explained, the real truth is just the opposite. Kol ha'hesteirim, all the concealments, heim bishvil hagilui. Their purpose is gil. Their purpose is to reveal, not to conceal. Hainu, which means lahov is ha'oir lamato mato b'madriga tachtein. Madriga tachteins. The whole idea of the concealment is to express the Oyer Havaya in the lowest madrigas, in the lower madrigas. And this, in fact, is the whole purpose and the whole significance of this halomas v'hasteirim. It is bigdei lahavi ulagalis as ha'oir. It is in order to bring down and to reveal the oil, to reveal what's contained in the oil, so that the oil will be recognized. It's like if I want that this cup should be over here, and I cannot move it with my mind, I have to move it with my hand. But when I move it with my hand, who really moves it? The hand or the mind? Or the rotz? Because I want to do it. If somebody says it's the hand that moves it, that's how Halomas V'Hasteirim. We say, no, it's not the hand. The hand is there to reveal what is in the mind.
To coordinate your actions and actions, I can know what you're thinking, what you're...
It's not that you know what you're thinking. It is representing that. We set up these tables in a certain way in this room. Okay, we set them up for convenience, because it's convenient, make it sit. That's the lower, that's the practical, the adjustments. What does it represent when you look at this room? A besmedrash. It has an idea. You know what I'm saying? It for all these movements of the tables and setup, it actually represents an idea that this is a besmedrash. It's not just the action. It was meant that the that the Ruchnis is revealed in Gashmis through the lower koyches. Was revealed. Think about it like this. Somebody sits and learns in the middle of the field. He's learning Torah. So you see, he's learning Torah. But that Torah is all Ruchnis, because he doesn't have an environment for learning. Like yet, he's in the middle of the field. He's not made for learning. Somebody learns in Besmedrash. So the Ikir is the learning. But the Besmedrash represents Begashmius, the concept of learning. So it's bringing down the oil in the Gashmis. If you're going into Besmedrash and nobody's there, empty, you see right away, what is it? It's a place for learning. So that you're able to bring down this whole concept of learning and present it in Gashmis. If you saw a table in the middle of the field and nobody's sitting on it, even if just a moment ago somebody was sitting and learning on it, you see a table, it means nothing. By setting it up in a proper way, you're revealing, you're translating the unit of learning in Gashmis. This is the idea of Hashem Elikim. To reveal Hashem Havaya in Gashmis. Not just the Gashmi itself, the Harbol. You got the point. It's clear.
When the Jew will take a stone and deal from this, the most tachtonim, and deal from this shul, this medrash, so he will deal and they will kill the...
Right. And here's where we see it. We see it. You're going to this medrash. Nobody is there. You know it's a place of learning. It's not tables and chairs. Okay. Lahavi or legales as ha'oir. This is the lahavi or legales as ha'oir. That the halamas v'astirim are for the purpose of bringing down and to reveal the oir, because this is how you megala the oir of Torah, of learning in Gashmis. So you make it recognizable in the world. The canal, the oirech, the moshel, the hashpos, horav, latam. And as we discussed at length before, in the moshel of how the rav is mashpia to the Talmud. So we explained over there, Shakol hatzim tumim v'ha b'hislapshus, v'ha hislapshus b'mishorim zorim, that all the various tzimtzumim. Tzimtzumim means that the rav is removing the oil, the seichel, and he is expressing it in Mesholim. And Mesholim Zorim. Mesholim means strange Mesholim, which means Mesholim that have nothing to do with the seichel that he is trying to teach him. V'inyonim shoinim, and all kinds of different ways. Hakoil hu bigdei, all of that is only for the sake it's in order that the Gilui or HaSeichel of the Rav should come to the Talmud. And what is the emphasis over here? That the Gilui or HaSeichel should come to the Talmud, not the Seichel itself, but the Or HaSeichel. So, like in the moshel that we had before in the Mismedrash, if somebody tells the Rav tells the Talmud, says, set up the tables this way. So the Talmud sets up the table this way. And what is the purpose? What is the Rav teaching him to this? Not just how the table should be set up, but the Talmud gets an idea of what it needs to learn, of the seichel, of the idea behind the setup. In everything there's this the seichel that's behind it. And this gilush, this revealing of the Seichel Harav is so powerful that ultimately through that Yove Gamkin Lo'oimek Chochmos Harav, the Talmud will be able to reach up and to dig in and to actually comprehend and realize the depth of the Seichel Chochmos Harav. The whole Chochmos Harav. So that these Misholim are not concealing and separating the Rav from the Talmud. On the contrary, they're connecting and revealing the Rav to the Talmud. The same in Islam Milo, they talk about the Inyan from Havaya and Elikim. So Havaya and Elikim is the means by which Havaya is represented in the world. Or Memel, and therefore, automatically, Harei ha'oir ha'eliki shenishpa. Al yidei halvushim ha'elomeis. The oir eliki that is given through the levushim and the alomas, through these garments and these concealments, hu ha'ikor. This is the main thing. Ve'elav yeyadavuk. And the Talmud should be connected to the Oyer Eliki, Umeyuchad Bey, or in the world also. What should a person be connected to? To the Oyer, to the Havaya. To that he should be connected. B'kiyom ha'Torah v'ha'mitzvos, by fulfilling Torah and mitzvahs. They have a hand, and on this hand you can put on tefillin. So, our normal view is, our normal understanding is, that primarily we have a hand. Hashem also gave us a mitzvah that we should put on tefillin on the hand. We have to go into this and understand the real truth, that the tefillin that we put on the hand, that makes the hand much more valuable than the hand itself. It elevates the hand to a much higher level than the hand itself. So that it actually makes sense to create a hand in order to put on tefillin. So that the ikir is a tefillin. The ikir, what is tefillin? Tefillin is that which connects the heart with the Meibush. The main thing is the connecting of the heart with the Meibush. That's the main thing. Hashem gave us a hand so that we can do it with Gashmis. How does one come to this kind of a of a realization. After all, we're in a physical world. We come to this realization when we reflect that Havaya Hu Holikim, that everything in Gashmius is revealing that which Ayin Ruchni, Ayin Raki. The Gashmi itself is insignificant. That's not what it's for.
The purpose of the Kim is only to reveal Havaya?
Only to reveal Havaya. Except it reveals Havaya in the world. It reveals Havaya in a limited way that it can be revealed in the world. And that's what we have. We have a hand, and on this hand we put on tefillah. So we have the mitzvah. So the Inyan mitzvahs, even though we cannot perform mitzvahs without gashmius, we can put on tefillah without a hand. So you say the hand is the main thing. So no, the opposites. The main thing is the mitzvah. And the hand is a means by which we can do the mitzvah. Hashem gave us a mouth. What's the primary function of the mouth? To eat. Not so. Primary function of the mouth is divrei Torah. It's also a means to eat, but primarily it is for divrei Torah. But we eat to make a bracha. Eat l'shem shamayim. That's the primary measure. In of the mouth. Not to fill the belly. But what Havaya Elokim. So therefore, that's what it's saying over here now. For Yiker, the Yiker is the oil Eliki, Nishpa Alidei Barushim. For Yiker, the oil of Yedov Kum Yuchad. This is what a person should be connected to the oil Eliki that's Nishpa to the Levushim. Bikim Atero Mitzvahs through Tzim Atero Mitzvahs. Ve'ein shum davar hamineya ume'akev eisem alakus. There is absolutely nothing that can prevent him and separate him from alakus. Because alakus is the real thing. And these halamas were stated are not halamas were stated for their own sake. They're meant to reveal the alakus. Ve'im halom eseim dim leile neged. And if the halamas are standing against him, to prevent him from doing Torah mitzvahs, so then he will stand up against them, against the halamas. He will stand up in Yisoyan to eliminate and to make the point that nothing can possibly stop him. And then, as a result of the Nisoyon, then he will reach even a higher Gilui Oyer canal, as we explained before. That what happens through the Nisoyon, you are Megala Gilui Oyer that does not even, it's not even mislabish in the Alomis Vestig, not mislabish in Shem Alekim. It's the oil that's above Hadbolus, because this is what gives you the ability to overcome the Nisayin. It is the oil that's higher than Alamus Vestir, than higher Mislapshis in the world. There was a story of a Rav that I knew of us. Was a Yerushalayim, and he was a Rav in a place, someplace in mid-America, where there was no yeshiva. For his own children, there was no school. No school for the children. What are they going to do? No school. Send them to public school. What are you going to do? So there was a school for their children, for little children, a couple of hours drive each way. So he started driving his children back and forth. And in the morning he goes there and comes back. Afternoon he goes there and comes back. 4 trips a day. And in addition, he's a Rav. He's got things to do. There was a time there was a few other people drove, but basically it was on him. And he drove and drove and drove until it got him exhausted. And one time he came to the place, he brought the children there, came to the place and he fainted. He was completely out of sight. And he told me the story. He said, I knew then that I broke it through. Something now is going to happen. And Kahav, soon after there was formed, I think they made a school in the place over there, or there were a couple, I don't know that, but the problem was solved. If you view the world only with Hashem Elokim, with Teva HaYom, there is no school. To drive each way 2 times a day is impossible. So you said, what can you do? You have to live in the world. What are you going to do? You're going to do the impossible? But if you know that regardless if it's possible or impossible, you have to give your children a chinuch hakosher. The impossible don't count anything. This is all HaYom state. But possible, impossible. I'm sending my children to school not because it's possible, because they have to go to school. They have to have a chinuch. Nothing to do with possible. If it's possible, fine. If it's not possible, it's invited, fine. This is the pshat, that you stand up in your soil and you break through the HaYom state. Because HaYom state are real HaYom state. And the point is that mitzad HaYom state, the argument is, what are you doing? This is the way the world is. You have to live in the world. There's no point to break the world. You don't have to break the world, but you have to know the ikar and the tofel. The ikar is that the children should have a chinuch hakosher, and therefore possible and impossible. I'm not asking permission from the world to give my children a chinuch hakosher. What? Omnom. Okay. Omnom, however, inyan ha'hafloga. What was the principle of hafloga? It is shemafrid chas v'sholem. When he separates chas v'sholem havaya and Elokim, he says this world is Elokim. And you have to live within the agbolas of Elokim, of the natural world. That which cannot be done naturally cannot be done. Then you separate it. He says, Havaya doesn't belong here. What belongs here is the Elokim, and therefore only that which is possible and normal, that's what you have to do. That which is difficult, you don't have to do it. You're disrupting the peace in the world. Zeho hepech legamri. That is complete opposite of the truth. Zeh shekosuf. Gabi der hafloga, and this is the meaning of the words that's written by der hafloga. By der hafloga it says in the pasuk, "Panase lonu shem." The hafloga said, "Let us build a tower. Panase lonu shem. We'll make for ourselves a name." What is this name? The Yisrael Medrash Rabbah, Pasuk Lamed Ches. It says in Medrash Rabbah, "Don't Rabbi Shmuel." Rabbi Shmuel said, Ein Shem Elo Avodah Zarah. Shem refers to Avodah Zarah. And therefore it means, when the Deir HaFloga said, Nasel on Shem, it means the Chet Deir HaFloga Hoyo Chet Avodah Zarah. It means that the Chet of Deir HaFloga was the Chet Avodah Zarah. Even though there is no mention in the Torah about Avodah Zarah, it says Nasel on Shem, Benofes Apnei Chol Haaretz. But actually, deep down, the Chet Deir HaFloga actually represented the union from Avodah Zarah. So how do we understand this union that Der HaFloga was the Chet was the union from Avodah Zarah? The explanation is like this: the Hinan is boili. We explained previously the me'etzem Shem Havaya K'meishahu, that from the Shem Havaya, the essence of the Shem Havaya, the way it is unto itself. Leho yo'ef sheli es mitzius hayesh mamish. It was not possible from Shem Havaya that there should be a mitzius of yesh. Not possible there should be a mitzius of yesh. Ki, because im ho yomeir giloi oyer Shem Havaya. If the Gilui Shem Havaya would be shining, the oilam would not be able to receive that light. The Hainu, which means Shalihoyo Metzias Yesh Mugbo. There would not be such a thing as a Yesh Mugbo, as a limited and a defined Yesh. So we already learned it and discussed it, but let's put it into these words right here. Lo mitzias yesh mugbo. Just like we discussed a long time ago, the difference between if a sight is able to see, and a person who's not able to see. A person is able to see, and he comes into this room, into a lit up room, and he has to go from there to there. He doesn't notice the tables. He sees the pathway. how to go there. You go straight there. A person who cannot see, he can also get there. But how? He has to feel his way around. Excuse me, he feels this chair and this table until that leads him over there. So he is based, his whole movement is based on the yesh, what the table is. The movement of a sighting person who is able to see is based on the eye, on where he is able to go, not on where the table is. He doesn't even pay attention. He doesn't even notice that anything is blocking him. He goes straight to the place. The Indian for Shem Havaya is okay. Well, let me step back one more notch in this motion. If, as we said, when the sighting person is not noticing the tables and the chairs, he is noticing the space, the empty space where he can go through. What is this space? It's nothing there. How is he going there? There's nothing there. The answer is that by him, the presence, the space is not that which is tangible, he can touch with his hand. There's a true presence. The whole thing is present. The place that is occupied by the table, the place that is not occupied by the tables. Everything is a presence. Even the ayin is also presence. So the being able to go through this is not dependent on something that's tangible. Because what makes it possible to go through? Because there is a whole room. The whole reality of this room, this is what makes it possible. Not the tables, not the yesh. By the blind person, by him, that which is not occupied by a table doesn't exist. He doesn't see it, doesn't exist. What exists? That which he can touch. The yesh. The yesh mugbo. This is what the guides him. That which is not a yesh, it doesn't exist. It's in mamish two opposite views, two opposite experiences. It's at Shem Havaya. Shem Havaya, you see the truth of existence. If you see the truth of existence, you don't notice the yesh. And therefore, with Hashem Havaya, there could not be a yesh mugbo. Because the Shem Havaya is revealing, is telling that what exists, the yesh, is really not mugbo. It's Ein Sof, it's ayin. So the yesh mugbo gets lost. It's like similar, but not really exact, but just to get a handle on it. It's like Shage B'Tihara. Shage B'Tihara, a candle in the sunlight. A candle in the sunlight is not a candle, it's not light. Here you have Havaya, you have Yisrael, So Yesh Mugmal is not an Exodus. Doesn't exist. Hashem HaHaya, there could not be Mitzvah Yesh Mugmal.
Because some of us don't know what is Yesh Mugmal. You not relate to this?
Mm-hmm. Right, and if there is a Yesh Mugmal, he would be bottled. That's right. A Yesh is a pshat. I have to use the muscle again. What is a Yesh in the muscle of the sighting person, not sighting person? A Yesh is a Hakbala, right? It obstructs. You can't go this way, you have to go around. Yesh Mugmal, you can't go this way. So to the blind person, he says, don't go this way. To a sighting person, he's not paying attention to it. There's nothing that tells him don't go this way. It tells him where you should go. He completely ignores that part which says don't go this way. The Yesh Mugmal doesn't exist. It's bottled completely because you see right away what is the truth. This is only a Gashmitic Muslim, you understand? But in a true Ruchnisike sense, when you see a Gil Shem Havaya, that means that there is a real presence. So that Yesh Mugmal, it cannot exist. What does it stand for? What does it represent? In comparison to Hashem Havaya, it doesn't exist. And therefore, if Shem Havaya should be revealed in Yesh Mugmal will cease to be a Yesh Mugmal. It will be no longer a Yesh Mugmal.
Say that if Havaya would reveal to the Yesh Mugmal, so Yesh Mugmal not going to exist. Right? So we like explain how the Yesh Mugmal not going to exist for Shem Havaya. But how you
What? What?
We say if Shem Havaya would reveal to the Yesh Mugmal, so Yesh Mugmal going to be it cannot exist.
Right.
Now we explain the opposite. Like Shem Havaya, for him, Yesh Mugmal is not important. He don't see it. Yesh Mugmal.
Right. And the same thing, if the Yesh Mugmal would see the Shem Havaya, if the Yesh Mugmal would see the Shem Havaya, he would cease to exist. There's only
If the blind person will start to see his.
Yeah, let's say the blind person start to see, so he'll go back and use the same thing. You won't see anything. All the Hagbolas will be meaningless.
Not possible that Yesh Mugmal should. How Yesh Mugmal can see Shem Havaya?
Can't.
If it's Yesh Mugmal, so let's say it's Yesh Mugmal gonna see Shem Havaya. It's Yesh Mugmal. Now it's Yesh Mugmal. How he gonna be?
He will see that he comes from Shem Havaya, which is not Mugmal.
And it's gonna make him not Mugmal.
Not Mugmal. That's right.
It's like some double gash we're gonna see Shem Havaya.
Okay. All right. Understand this. For this, we have to go a little bit broader in this motion. A Yesh Mugmal, like in our world, that exists in a certain time and place. That's a Hagbolah. Time and place. if there would be Gil Shem Havai, Gil Blikvul, so then this thing would not be mugbal in time and space. It would be everywhere. And it would be eternal forever. But Yesh Mugbal. Let's say you can't imagine, it's hard to project the universe of everywhere. Right? Space. Which we have to discuss a little bit. But time we can definitely project. Let's say if there's napkins over here, and you see that this is created by Yeshem Havaya, and therefore you can pull tissues never ending. Never end. It will never end. No matter how this is a small box, pull tissues, you'll continue to pull forever. Is this a Das Yesh Mugbu?
This concept, no.
It's not Yesh Mugbu.
Maybe it's like in the Bet HaMikdash, in the Aron HaKodesh.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So what does it mean to the Yesh is real Shem Havai? It's not his Shem Havai, the Yesh actually acquired the Shem Havai.
Yeah, that's means the Gil Shem Havai. Gil Shem Havai in the Yesh, it's no longer Yesh Mugbo. The whole thing of a Yesh is, I'm withholding, I'm giving you just this much existence for this much time. In this box you can put 1,000 napkins. 1,000 napkins, you take one out, you have 999. Okay? That's mukbal. But if you have Gil Shem Havai, which means, no, you're supposed to have napkins. And therefore, you will always have napkins. You can pull and pull and pull. There could not be a Metzias of Yesh Mugbal. It's Shem Havai. The Kanal b'Moshel, and as we discussed earlier in the Moshel of Hashpoaz HaSeichel, Shimho Yehorav Megale Etzem Sichloi, K'moi Shehu. Hashpoaz HaSeichel, if the Rav were to reveal his Seichel the way it is, K'moi Shehu, Lehoyo HaMkabil Yochel LeKabil. The Makabel would not be able to receive, to accept it. What is Seichel Harav K'mei Shehu? That's what it says, Etzem Sichloi. Etzem Sichloi K'mei Shehu, the Seichel Harav. The Seichel Harav works entirely differently than the Seichel HaTalmid. The Talmud works from the Mato L'mayla. If you say a certain thing is like this, you have to prove it logically that it is like this. Seichel Harav works the opposite. He sees how the yin is. Just like we said before in sight and touch. Seichel HaTalmid, negative to Seichel Harav, is like an ear and touch. You tell a blind person, Rahman says, what are you doing? Why are you going on the table for? Go around. What are you talking about? What around? You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what you're talking about. Same thing is in Seichel. The Rav sees the in the way it is. Etzem Seichel Rav. The truth, not the way it's proven, but the way it is, because of the truth itself. That's the way it should be. If Tal is talking to the Talmud on that level, this is the way it should be. He gets more misbah. He doesn't know such thing as should be exists. He only knows something which you build, which you create. If you have one stone, you have another stone, you have two. How the thing should be, he has no idea. The whole concept doesn't exist. The same thing on a smaller scale, right? You have the engineer who designed the house. Architect, the engineer designed the house. He says, you're building a wall. Here's how you build the wall. To build, put these bricks here on top of the other. And the bricklayer starts putting the bricks together. Okay. So when you come to the bricklayer, you have to tell him, put these bricks this way, one on top of the other, this way. Put them over here, all the way over. You can't tell the bricklayer. You should know, I want you to build this wall. What wall? I don't see a wall. You understand? He doesn't have an idea what a wall is. He only knows how to lay bricks. The wall comes later, after the bricks leaves. Oh, there's a wall. Oh, I didn't know I was building a wall. The engineer and the architect knows that they're building a house. But the bricklayer doesn't know he's doing that. Same thing, this difference between Rav and Talmud. The Rav sees things from a different level. By him, the fact that you have to lay bricks is insignificant. The bricks don't build the wall. It's the design of the house that makes the thing. To the Talmud, the bricks make the wall. You mean? No? The muscle from the architect. The architect designs a house. So by him, he has the idea of a house. Since a house automatically has walls. So he's talking about the house, and the walls are part of the house. The bricklayer doesn't know anything about a house. Doesn't know anything about a wall. He knows how to lay bricks. So you can't tell him build a house. Doesn't know what you're talking about. He never built a house. He only laid bricks. So if you start talking to him and says, you should, over here, you should build a house. He doesn't know what that means. So, it's a different level completely. We said the Rabbi has to lower his thinking, forget about the house. Remember that a house has walls. Remember that walls have bricks. Tell the Talmud about the bricks. And then you explain to him how that builds the wall and how that builds the house. Okay? HaYom misbalbalim chushei hamkabel legamri. The chushim of the makabel would be misbalbal, would be confused altogether. If the Rav were to give him his seichel the way he has it, he would be completely confused. How do you build a house? You put this bricks over here. I mean, how do you build a house? What's a house? And how do you build a house? I only know how to bricks. Bricks are little pieces. Don't put it on, not a house. You understand? This whole concept doesn't exist in his mind. He will be completely confused. V'hainu bitul hakelim shalek yodu. What happens, bitul hachushim means the bitul hakelim.
This means kelim.
Huh?
What does mean kelim?
Kelim. Kelim is the means by which you are transmitting, like a cane, right? I have the cane, you put water in it, and I give you. I'm going to give you water, but how do I give you water? Through a cane. I can't give you water without a cane. Same thing with seichel. The kelim are the words, the sentences, and the ideas through which I'm giving you a seichel. And we're giving a seichel over through such ideas that the makabel can relate to these ideas. These are the kelim through which he receives the seichel.
So Talmud know, the Talmud knows some ideas, the kelim of the Talmud, and through these ideas that he knows, he's
That's right. But if he gives it in the seichel the way it is, he loses it. Okay?
What do you mean with bargaining? He was saying this is right, and now he's understanding this is not right, like this is left, and now he's understanding this.
This problem, he says, you'll be confused. You're talking about a house, and he's trying to understand, does that mean a brick? What does that mean? You're being misspelled, confused. Oil is safe. Somebody who has never heard an oil is safe. She says, what's that mean? Like a bank? Anytime I go to the bank, I give them a check, I get money. Is that a bank? So, okay, we'll go into this a little bit, next time. Just a little bit. So the same thing is Lamayla. When the oil of the Etzem L'Shem Havaya was revealed, then the worlds were not in a state of Metzius Yesh. Now, Shem Havaya is really the source of all existence. Why the source of all existence? Shem Elokim doesn't have its own place. It comes from Shem Havaya. That's the real source of existence. But if this source of existence is revealed, then the worlds are not the B'chinas Metzius Yesh.
say about revealed, this means acquired the tchunas, the qualities of what is from. So then,
It is, Shem Havaya has the tchunas of Ein Sof, right? Hoya Heilu V'yiri Ki Echad. The past, present, and future together.
so if the Havaya revealed to the years, it means Gilui, I understand it means that the years will acquire the qualities of Shem Havaya.
Yeah,
Not only Gilui, I know it's Shem Havaya.
yeah, of course.
It's automatic. If Shem Havaya revealed to you, so you become like Shem Havaya, so you will.
That's right. So the elements cannot be B'chinas Yesh. A Yesh means that it can be defined, can be touched. A Yesh means that I'm here and not here. There's a place where I am and a place where I'm not. That's a Yesh. So Havaya is B'li Gvul.
Explained last time, but again, like, so when we break through the obstacles, we say we reveal Shem Havaya, so why we still yes? It's like, so you explain it, we like, if you say the Gilu Shem Havaya, it means you acquire the fullness of Shem Havaya. I was thinking before the Gilu, it means you see, you know, you recognize. Like,
No, Gila means it's Megillah.
so how you, if you reveal Shem Havaya, why you? Why we still a yes?
So what did I explain to you last time? Which makes any question?
Explain that it's like sight. When you cannot exist, when you bought into Allah, when you yes, when Allah revealed to you, so if you yes, so you
Right.
bought it. But if you bought into Allah,
You can't even see. Right. And we will discuss it in Mitzvah next time. More. Okay.